Yes, nonsense and analysis. Yeah, hi, dear viewer. Today, I am actually bringing something very, very positive, and I think that it is something that we as South Africans should certainly celebrate and not take for granted. Um, Players, Caleb Levitan, he has fulfilled his last requirements for an IM norm. And yeah, he's going to have over 2,400 rating, ELO, 2,400. And he will be, he's eligible for the international master title. Um, Now that on its own is impressive, but what really made me make this presentation is simply the fact that he is 14. I mean, this is absolutely tremendous. It is actually a very beautiful, nice result to have at that age. And what I wanted to do was to okay, let's first and foremost go into the tournament. So the tournament was held in Serbia, and he dominated the tournament. It's very rare for a South African to dominate a tournament overseas, but he dominated this tournament. But to show, that he actually is human, should we say that before this tournament, he played an event on February the 2nd, right? It was with the same organizer. It's Fantastico events, and I want to go to he played an open tournament before, a few months before playing actually the closed event. And in the open tournament, I think that he was not yet warm. You know, um, in this tournament, out of nine, so the tournament was from the February the 2nd to the 11th of this year, and he ended up with four out of nine, and he lost, unfortunately, 15.2 elo points. So uh, he performed slightly worse than his rating. But and when I look at the field though of this particular tournament, there were many young players from China and India. There was a player who comes second in this tournament was a player Jiang Hao Shen, 2374, under 14 from China. Third place was under 16 from China, under 18 from China. We have under 20 from Mongolia, under 14 from China, under 12 from India. So yeah, a little bit unlucky for us that, in a tournament where, we wanted him to perform or would have liked to see him perform against his age mates, he was still, shall we call it, cold. But this is normal. When you go like to Europe, your first tournaments, because you have been playing for a while, you will take time before you warm up. Let's put it that way. But nonetheless, him and his trainers, they rectified all that, and he then subsequently played a closed tournament. And in this closed tournament, he absolutely dominated the field. And I just want to read. So he came first, and he scored an incredible 8 out of 9. So I mean, 8 out of 9 with two draws. And let's look at the field. So his rating was 23-27. Second was an international master from Serbia, Ratkovic, 24-45. Then third was a grandmaster, Drazic Sinica, 22-66. But okay, because of the rating, I guess he's already a slightly older gentleman, yeah. And then, but on the fourth position was Sedlak. Now, Sedlak, I actually know. Nicholas Sedlak, he had a rating of 24.52, and Caleb beat him. And Sedlak, I think he was over 2,600, in his peak. Very strong player. But the field, he dominates the field. I mean, 22.93, 20. So basically, this would be a field of the essay closed, and stronger than the field of the essay closed. And can you imagine, someone scoring 8 out of 9 with 2 draws? Domination, total domination, complete dominating the field. Beautiful result. And him, this was the IM norm, and him the IM title. And of course, his performance rating is what catches the eye. His performance rating was over 2,600. Now, when you have a performance rating of over 2,600, that is already enough for you to score a Grandmaster norm. But in certain type of events. In this event, he didn't score the GM norm because the average rating was slightly lower. But nonetheless, we can all agree that the ingredients, the potential for the GM is here, and really something that I think we are lucky to have. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say that I think we have a potential World Championship contender in our hands here. And okay, before you blow me off and say, oh, there goes Watu, I'm going to make a comparison. So his rating, his performance rating, even though it's not, his rating is going to be over 2,400. Important to remember. 14. His performance rating was over 2,600. Now, I made a comparison with other players who've become world chess champion. And I was very much interested in terms of how was their rating at the same level, right? So I started first with the current strongest player in the world, Magnus Carlsen. So Carlsen was born in 1990. And in 2004, Magnus Carlsen's rating was 24.84. Yeah, Caleb's rating is 24 something already. He's within. We look at Ding Liren. Ding Liren became world champion, of course, as well. Ding Liren was born in 1992, and in 2007, this is already slightly older, but same bracket. He had a rating of 22.89. Ding Liren had a rating of 22.89. So if you compare him to Caleb, Caleb is beating him with this is a serious distance. Now, a guy who is within that as well is the current world champion, which is Gukesh. Gukesh was, he had a rating in 2019 he had a rating in the same, let's say, same year, same age as Caleb now. He had a rating of 25.47. Okay, that's quite a rating. But nonetheless, we should remember that Caleb matches this in terms of performance, yeah? So within. Then let's bring it closer to home. There was a player in Egypt who had tremendous success. He became junior world champion, under 20, a grandmaster by the name of Ahmed Adli. Ahmed Adli has played SA Open in the past, and a very well-known player in African circles, but nonetheless, let's have a look at him. Now, Ahmed Adli became in 2001 an international master when he was 14. Same year, not same year, but same age, no? The same age as Caleb is right now. So that is my claim. And I'm saying that, look, we should not take this lightly, I think that we really should not take this lightly because we have a player here who has the potential to become a contender for the World Championship, and at least, well, I'm hoping that at least he's going to try and play in these age groups, under 16, under 18 World Championship, because he definitely has chances, with a performance like this. And And we need to see, of course, more performances. But I think once you perform at that level, once you show that the potential is there to keep it at that level. And I am very, very impressed with this rating. Now, okay, unfortunately, we don't have the games from this event. I was looking at the Week in Chess Tweak, which is a site that normally shows games from tournaments. But okay, the the guy who puts Tweak together, yeah, he did say that he didn't receive any games from the event. But I don't think games are important. I mean, it's more important that we have the result. For me, this is the thing. The result is more important. It is there, and it is a norm, and the title has been achieved. What I want to show from the games that I do have of this young player, this is not a great game of his, but I think it does show something which I wanted to highlight. It shows his incredible resourcefulness, and it shows also his incredible fighting spirit. So anyway, this game was played in not the last round, but it was the round before the last one. It was in the SA Closed, and the SA Closed was a qualifier for the Olympiad team. And round about this stage, it was very tight. It wasn't clear, who's going into the team. I think that with this win, he was then tied first, I think, with Barish. So anyway, let's have a look at the game. So he was playing with the black pieces, and don't forget though, the quality is nothing special quality wise, because it's a long event, and I remember we're playing 2 games a day. So a tiring event. So anyway, he's playing with the black pieces against Keith Kumalo. And okay, we have a standard position, 96, A3, bishop C5, bishop E3. Yeah, so this position standard. White has got a weak pawn on D3 and square. The black knight may be not so well placed here. So maybe a normal move is something like bishop B6, maybe. Bishop B6 immediately threatens, by the way, C5, D4. And bishop B6, knights can come to C5, maybe A5 or rook E8. These moves are normal. Keep the center but I think here he's a bit tired. He exchanges and plays rook E8 because now after F3 we now start to see that unfortunately the bishop on H7 is out of the game, yeah. And white is better here. So Keith, plays this nicely. Bishop F1 is a very good move. Takes the bishop. So in this position is being outplayed, Caleb, yeah. And king goes to F2, queen B5, very good move. Bishop B2. So Keith has got 2 bishops, he's pinning him. It's a hopeless situation. And one has to remember the importance of the game, though, because it's important. It was important for Caleb not to lose this position so as to secure his place into the team. And the position is, I'm going to go, it's hopeless. But now I want to show this fighting spirit. So yes, in this position, I mean, white has everything going. This position is completely winning for white. The king is coming, to F4, to G5. The white pieces are better placed. Everything is going white's way. But look at this undying spirit and undying. He continuously fights. And remember, this was like late at night. And I remember this was possibly the last game. I think there were only the 2 players remaining in the if I'm not mistaken, in the playing hall, and everyone else had finished. It was very late, so and look at this, bishop F3, and finally this staying on the board, this not undying fighting skill ability. which will certainly do him good in his future career. Keith here, he fatigue and everything, and he blunders. Keith plays f6. I think it is an understandable blunder because in this position, mm, possibly Keith is looking at taking on c4 and maybe attacking the king, take on c4, attack the knight, then put bishop on d4 and maybe checkmate. And knight d2, this is what Keith misses, g5, and Caleb takes. I think Keith wanted to play king f7, maybe, to try and play g5, g6 check, and then queen. Understandable, but I think he misses just that bishop d5 check can unfortunately happen. And if you play king f8, I can go up with my king, and you are a piece down. Well, look, so yes, as I say, in terms of quality, not a lot to write about, but in terms of fighting spirit, very interesting. And if you think about it, something like this from a 14-year-old in a very critical game, an important game, to pull something out of the hat, so to speak, and force Keith to blunder such incredible resourcefulness. So yes, this is it, and I am very excited that we are having a player like this, a very bright future of South African chess, and yeah, I think I think he's going to play some few tournaments in Europe again, and we wish him well. We are rooting for him. And yeah, and dear reader, sorry, dear viewer, please, I am saying that we have a future, a possibility of a future world champion here. I mean, he certainly, what's the word I'm looking for? He measures up to the other guys who became world champion, similar results, no, similar results at the similar age. So yeah, I'm wishing him good luck and well done to him for the IM title. And yeah, it's now very interesting for me to see the route that he's going to take in pursuit of the Grandmaster title. We will see. Is he going to play more tournaments in Serbia, or is he going to venture out of Serbia? Or we will see. We will see. But either way, we are watching and we are rooting for him, and we are wishing him the very best of luck. And yeah, with that, dear viewer, I will say, yeah, that was it for today. And yeah, we have a star is born. Let's put it that way. And yeah, with that, I will say that's it for this episode. Checkmate.